So here we go. Label one interior, exterior, and central. I want you to use these letters, right, for them. So one interior, you go to any corner, right, and just put an I there. You're identifying that that's interior. Exterior, pick any side. I tend to take the bottom for some reason, so then you kind of just travel out of it, right? Continue the path of that side, and then you have your exterior right in there. And central, you find the middle, and then just slice it, right? One there, one there. That angle is what we call the central angle. So clearly identify, don't just put the C somewhere in that triangle. You're telling me that that angle right there is central. So 3 marks if you got that right. Calculate the sum of interior angles. Hold it. I need to know how many sides, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that what you count? All right. I just don't want to do the whole thing and get it wrong. So sum of interior angles, you go to your formula sheet, right? Sum of interior angles, like you can't get it, like it can't be any clearer than that, right? So the formula calls for, your formula sheet actually has 180 times n minus 2, right? It has it like this, no big deal, 180 times 11, that's 1980. So 1 mark for that. Make sure you remember degrees, right? Every answer when you use these formulas is in degrees. Calculate the measure of one interior angle. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I can take the sum of all angles and just divide it by the number of sides. That's what the formula actually is doing. So I just go ahead and divide it by 13. That's 152.31 degrees rounded correctly. So if you didn't round it, you take off half, right? If you put 30 in there, it's technically not rounded correctly. Calculate the measure of one exterior angle. 360 divided by 13. Sorry. That is 27.69 degrees. Another way of finding that out would have been the exterior angle is always 180 minus that interior angle. And watch this, you get the same answer, right? So both ways are acceptable methods. Okay, calculate the measure of a central angle. It's the same thing, so I'm going to rush through that one. Calculate the number of diagonals. That would be n times n minus 3 divided by 2. So it's 13 times 13 minus 3 divided by 2. That's 13 times 10 divided by 2. Okay, so 13 times 10 divided by 2, 65 diagonals. That might be a good bonus question. You get 5 bonus marks if you can actually draw all 65 diagonals. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to mark that. What if you miss one? What is the sum of all exterior angles? It's always 360. And Lawrence was saying, sorry Lawrence, he's saying, hey, if one exterior angle is 2769, then if there are 13 of them, it doesn't quite add up to 360, right? But that's because we round it, but right, it should add up to 360, all exterior angles combined. Okay, so this page is out of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This page is out of 9. Hope you did okay on that one. If not, hey, it's never too late. Question number 2. If a polygon has a sum of interior angles of that, how many sides does it have? So we start with this. Sum is n minus 2. I prefer to have the 180 trailing like that, to be honest. Then we substitute this into there, 34. This is more about you knowing how to manipulate formulas. The province wants you to know how to manipulate formulas, more so than figuring out what n is in this case. So the next step would be dividing both sides by 180. It's a recipe, by the way. This is a recipe. It works every time. So then you divide 3420 by 180. That's 19. So you find out that this would be 19, and on the other side you're left with that. And what you do there is you add 2 to both sides. So you end up with n on the right side and 21 on the other side. 21 sides. Okay? So if you guessed it, you get half a mark. To get 2 marks, you need to have those steps. So if you guess it, you get half a mark. So don't leave it blank. But and I have this in your notes. If you go past page 203, yesterday's video basically, it's there. Pentagon has the following exterior angles. This one I'm interested to see how you guys did. A pentagon has the following exterior angles. What do we know about all exterior angles in any polygon? It always adds up to 360. So when you see exterior angles, you know that they all add up to 360. So you're given 1, 2, 3, 4 angles, right? 4 angles given, and it's a pentagon, right? Where we know it has 5 sides or 5 angles, right? So 4 are given. So this is a classic. Yeah, go ahead. This is a classic exterior angle would be 360 minus 71 minus 68 minus 73 minus 74. Right, so you just subtract the 4 from that 360, and what do we get? 70 what? 74? I will check. Yeah, 74. Thank you. So you would get 1 mark. You know where the 1 mark comes from? The 360. Yes, if you have that 360 showing up, you get 1 mark. And then you would get another mark for coming up with 74, of course. Next, calculate the angle C here. That's central, right? Central angle right here. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 sides. So central angle is 360 divided by 15. That's 24. 24 degrees. 1 mark. The value of side X, right? That's this one right here. We know that this triangle is an isosceles. So we have an SAS, because this is 24 in there. So X squared is 50 squared plus 50 squared minus 2 times 50 times 50 times cosine of 24. If you have a calculator like mine, you can type that all in one shot. That is that. 2727 keeps going. Take the square root of that. 20.79. And we are in feet, right? So you get 2 marks for that. I would say 1 mark for setting up your cosine law and doing the work, and one mark for getting the correct final answer. The perimeter of this polygon, whatever you got here, if you got something completely different than me, if you do this step where you take the 15 sides and you multiply it by whatever you got prior to this, And that's your perimeter, 311.85 feet. You would get the mark for that step, okay? Okay, consider the diagram below. This one is a bit of a blast from the past, right? And so don't underestimate the power of this property. Sum of, and also a straight angle is also 180. What do I mean by straight angle? You should write this down. This is what I mean. If this is 120, then what do I know about this one here? It's going to be 60. They're going to add up to 180. So if you have a straight line and two angles, right, you can figure it out. And the sum of triangles 180 is when you add up all three, you get that. So watch what I'm going to do. Calculate angle M. This one here. I'm just going to go 180 minus the 90 minus the 45 that is here. And what do you end up with? I'm just focusing on this triangle here. You end up with 45, right? What's so special about that? We'll see in a bit, right? And over here is 180 minus the 90 here in this corner minus the 46. What do I end up with? 44, right? So one mark for each. If you have M is 45, N is 44, if you have that, you get one mark for each. Not bad, right? Now, classifying. A, B, D. This triangle right here, what would it be? It's a right because of this guy. And because of the two angles being the same, it's an isosceles. Yes. So you get one mark for that. Triangle ABC. You know how long it took me to figure out this symbol on Word? It's so crazy. Anyways, I'm so proud of myself. It's 2220 Alt X, and then it shows up. There you go. Thank you, Google. And then this one here, sorry, A, B, C, we're talking the whole thing. Let me do this for you here. I'm going to put down 44 here. So what does this whole thing add up to? Right? It's 89. I did that on purpose too. So close to 90, right? So 89, 45, 46. This is acute. Acute what? Scalene, because all of the angles are different. 45, 46, 89. BDC, so BDC, we're talking this one. Because of this right angle, that gives you half a mark already. 44, 46, they're different, so that's a scalene. Okay, so one mark for each. Correct. If you missed one of them, take off half, right? Okay. Sketch a kite and label 3 properties using the appropriate markings. A kite should be like this, where the bottom is longer than the top. I'm going to say this. This is one property for me. This is another property there. And these two measure the same. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that'll be 3 properties. And there's a fourth. Yeah. There's a fourth one about these angles, right? This one is the same as this one. Is that what you're going to ask, Lawrence? Okay. I read your mind. That's basically it. So, if you're allowed to write it, sum of interior angles is 360 actually counts. It's sometimes too obvious, but it would count if you were able to write it. Okay. So 3 marks, 1 for each property correctly labeled. So I have to add it up here. 3 and 3 is 6, 2 is 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. This back page is out of 16. So see what you got there. Back of your booklet, there should be a blank page or two. A blank page or two. If you want to use the back, that's all gonna fit in there. If you just use the back of your booklet, and we're just gonna have a test checklist. Okay. If you don't have the booklet anywhere, geometry test checklist. So Pythagorean theorem, sum of triangles equal to 180. Straight angle is equal to 180, right? These three properties, right? Use these to classify triangles, right? So that's going to be if there are no side lengths and no angles, and obviously just go by the diagram. But if I do provide you with some information, check, right? Used to classify triangles, right? So you should be able to have, there's right, acute, obtuse, and there is equilateral, isosceles, and scalene. Right? So these are the first and last name combination that you can use to classify a triangle. So that's what I mean by that. Next point is solve for unknown angle or angles using sine, cosine law. So, I mean, you know what you've seen, so just if you need a refresher, do it. Other than that, you should be fine. Quadrilaterals, right? No properties. Sketch using markings. And these are our basic ones, right? We have our square, our rhombus, we have our rectangle, we have our parallelograms, right? We have our trapezoids, and we have our kite. Sorry. Okay, where we know that these are the same, these are the same. Don't forget parallel lines, that's also a good property to have, of which the kite is the only shape, only quadrilateral that does not have parallel lines. That's something worth noting. It very much distinguishes it from all the other ones. I'm going to say find height. of trapezoid. Can I say this under this one? See page 190. Right, 190 is where you would find all of that. I would say your study sheet, I wouldn't write down the properties unless you want to. I would just have the shape with all of the markings on it. And that should be enough for you. Find the height of a trapezoid, right? Let me see if I can quickly reference that to a page number. Page 193. And 194. Determine missing values on triangles and quads. Okay. Find does that mean anything to you? It should. Find the sum, the measure of interior angle, central angle, exterior angle, diagonal, right? The names, no. Like if I say find the central angle for this polygon, there'll be a diagram. You just count the number of sides. Yeah. You should know a hexagon is 6 though. Like, yeah. No, not area of a trapezoid. No, nope. Polygons, and this is what should ring a bell backwards, right? Given exterior angle, that'd be the first one, given the sum of interior angles. There are two scenarios where we figured out how many sides. Find the perimeter of a polygon. I will say that review buying new or used car. So review what is the, like, how did a new car work? How did that work? And how did it work if you bought a used car? It could be a private or, right? This branches out into private or dealer. And if you have your study sheet built, I mean, you have the formulas, right? You should know how that works. Test review 1. I will send you to the workbook, page 9 to 11 in the workbook. Test review 2, I will give you an AC, which it's up to you if you want to do it. I think it's a good challenge. Okay, AC, I think it's number 6. AC number 6. handout. And just for folks that watch the video later and maybe don't have the handout, I'm just gonna, you can pause it, right? And do the questions on your own. Oh, there's a kite and I'm breaking it down. Okay. This AC basically summarizes all of it. And there may be stuff in there that helps you for a potential bonus question on the test, yeah, the bonus question is found in AC6, okay? I'm not going to say anything else. Anything else that I need to remind you of? Maybe this, because this is the one that I find quite often students, I don't know why they miss it, but it happens all the time. So just a quick review. I'm just going to flip back like to the inside of the booklet. There are a bunch of blank pages. If you ever get something like this, try to copy this as I'm just presenting it here. If this had been 100 degrees, and this is, let's say, 60 degrees here. No, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to talk about this one here. Are you able to do this? It's just do this one here and then cross it with this one. So if I asked you, right, find this angle, find that angle, and find this one. Angle X, you see the straight line? You don't see it now, now you see it, right? That's the one I'm talking about. They're next to each other. So X, without even doing showing any work, we know X would have to be 80. Okay? Now you have one angle inside that triangle here. You focus on this side. What would Y be equal to? 60. All right. And so Z, you now know 2, right? So you go 180 minus 80 minus 60. This would be 100 minus 60 is 40, right? So now you have 40. If I now asked you to classify that triangle, what would it be? In terms of the angles, I do a quick scan. They're all below 90. So it'll be acute. And in terms of side lengths, scalene, right? Because all angles are different. So boom. So don't let something like that scare you. You know how to get the angles that are missing. You just have to do a little bit of thinking. And if there are no letters, you put a letter in there. Use the first letter of your name, whatever works for you. Put it in there. So the key to the AC and to 9 to 11, I will post it as soon as you leave. If you want to do some work there. And the key is detailed, so it's not just the answers. If you find a mistake, please email me. Appreciate that. Maybe I do it on purpose to see if you're actually doing it. Other than that, I think that's it.